Hi everybody, welcome back. This is your boy Sir Drinks a Lot. You've tuned in to a Lap It Up, my drink review series. I slept too good. Yep, slept too good. Just one of those sleeps where I wish I could continue sleeping. I'm not trying to idolize a coma or anything, but I could have definitely gone back into a coma. Obviously not funny to some people. But we find humor in dark things. This sometimes. I don't know. I think that just because you don't find it funny, if everybody around you is laughing and you don't find it funny, is it not funny? Or is it just not what you think is funny at the time? Because I know that at some point everybody has laughed at a fart joke. You know? Whether it's due to irony or whatever. Fart jokes, you see somebody take a header when they're on the skateboard. Sometimes it's funny, Is that Schadenfreude? Get enjoyment out of other people's misery. But to be honest, I think that there's something to be said for comedy that is insensitive, and then there's an audience that is too sensitive. I think that if you find something not funny, move on. I think that's what's really more important. Or just do something else, or pay attention to something else, or whatever. It doesn't make any sense to keep obviously if it's so offensive that you just making you mad, then leave. I am getting really annoyed with you. Not you. Yeah. And it's okay if you're in an uncomfortable situation. Leave. Yelling and screaming and causing a scene is not going to help you. I do believe that if you find yourself in a situation where you have to speak your piece, speak your piece. Just don't put up with somebody harassing you. But that's the thing, is that usually you could just go. Same thing when it comes to just relationships and other things. I think that it is best to just pull the plug, in a sense. See, that's gonna upset some people. Just kidding. That might upset somebody. There's appropriate timing for jokes. And that's kind of the key of comedy, is timing. And so sometimes jokes are just not timed properly, or something isn't heard at a time that somebody really wants to hear it, or really should hear it. Like, don't make coma jokes when somebody's dad is in a coma or something. You know, it's like, hey, how would we not do that? You know, I'm not gonna put down the rule book or anything, but like, you know what? Probably not the best time. And like, for example, if, oh gosh, in the dating scene, when you get ghosted, guess what? Move on. If they were interested in you, they would contact you more. They would tell you hello more. They would see how you're doing. They would send you little fun things. Yes. Also, if you do something out of pocket, you do something dumb, and like for me, I have a bad habit of like having the conversations. Like if somebody does something to me, I kind of imagine the next interaction, the next situation, you know, or if I do something stupid, my brain goes, okay, I have to explain this. They don't have to listen to me. Even if they didn't, they're either going to yell at me, or, you know, it's not going to do any good either way. So, you know, sometimes you don't have to. Now, in some situations, you should have the conversation. You should explain yourself. You should do stuff. And there have been plenty of times in my life where I've had to do that. But the one time I've never had to do that has been on the beach. And when I say beach, I mean a beach near the ocean. By ocean, I bring up our drink for today, because you have tuned into a Lap It Up. It's the weirdest fucking segue. I was going to start off with this first and then move into what that. But it's a Capri Sun Pacific Cooler. Heavy starter there. I like dropped a ton weight. Maybe not a ton, but like the weight slammed down way before the joke landed, or the conversation really wasn't really a joke. But yeah, no, this is the Pacific Cooler Capri Sun. 90 calories. That's not bad. I mean, it is a smaller beverage, but like, hey, maybe this is something that I might try first thing in the morning, kind of thing, you know? Got 30 milligrams of sodium, and honestly, that's not bad. That's really not bad. 23 grams of carbs. And what are you going to get for your orange juices in the morning, you know? With that chalky milk. I'm not talking about alternatives. I mean, I am actually talking about alternatives, but I'm like pushing alternatives. I'm just saying, it's like, hey, there are other things out there, you know? Still pushing alternatives. Like, pushing the alternative versus just giving the option, you know? Speaking of alternatives. And red light. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, good. All right, let's see. Natural ingredients has sugar, which is, pear, grape, and orange juice concentrate, monk fruit concentrate, citric acid, pineapple. That's not bad. Keeping it real, that's why our Jesus drink is made with real fruit juice. Shake well. Man, let's give it a shot. Oh. Well, it's nice. It's a very cool smell. It's not a very pungent, you know, a very, very vibrant smell. It's a very, very chill smell, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's actually it's Pacific Cooler is what it's called. For some reason I thought it was called Ocean Cooler. That's why I made the ocean thing, which obviously makes no sense now. But it's not bad. It's not very strong flavor. But it does have, like, you can taste the pineapple for sure, and the grape. I don't really, maybe I can kind of taste the apple a little bit, but might be just me going, like, if I hadn't have read that, I'd have been all like, oh, this is, yeah, I wouldn't, yeah. I don't know about the monk fruit, though. My brain can't process that, because I've never had it, so I don't know what it would taste like. But this is pretty good, honestly. It is an odd flavor combination, but it is a nice flavor, you know? Dude, you need to, like, not wait till the last minute to... Alright. Yeah, yeah, that has a nice flavor. I like that. It's very cool, very chill. I like the fact that it also doesn't have high fructose corn syrup that actually uses sugar. So that's a positive for me anyway. I don't know about anybody else. But yeah. But yeah. Oh. But anyway, I guess the topic for today is mostly just the whole concept of timing and the ability to decide when it's time to move on. And that can be very harmful to a relationship, or to a situationship, to a friendship, to an acquaintanceship. But if people don't, like, if you put a lot of energy into something, and you're not getting reciprocated stuff, you know, and whether or not you act out on that, good or bad, honestly, for everybody's, like, benefit, unless, like, you have to deal with them, it's best to just cut it. If you think it's worth it, though, keep doing what you can do. But know your limits. And that's a really hard thing to do. Sometimes you're a little premature. Sometimes you're staying in it for a long time. But the best thing to do is to find a nice drink, sit down, think it out, take a nap, have a snack, and decide if it's what you want for the rest of your life. And sometimes you decide what you want for the rest of your life. Like, you say, this is it. And time passes and it changes. That's okay. That's something that I was watching recently. That was a scene in a TV show where, an ex-husband was coming in and talking to his ex-wife, and I guess they were still amiable, because the daughter had just not taken off, but gone to go stay with somebody else. He was like, what the hell's going on? And, what happened with her? And the mom and the daughter had some words, and then the daughter left. And the mom, it was a situation between where the wife was talking about, like, the husband was saying, look, I know this happened with you and me, and I know you want her to do better, but you gotta let her make her own mistakes. And then the lady says, it's like, but I see her making the same mistakes I did, and I can't have that for her. And it's like, he's like, look, I know things didn't go well with us. And she was like, do you think that's how it really was? And it's like, I don't, like, she didn't divorce him because of whatever reasons, because she, how she feels about it, because she didn't know who she was at the time, and she felt stuck. And I think that we sometimes let our current situations define us, or we also get really worried about where we're currently at, and we don't realize the freedoms that we have. We start to box ourselves in, and then when we try to make a fresh start of it, the concept of a fresh start, we hurt a lot of people, but we have to do it for ourselves. And to an extent, I get that, especially if you're just not happy where you are. But sometimes I wonder if you're not happy where you are right now. I'm not saying people need to stop doing what they're doing or whatever, or continue doing what they're doing. Don't be where you're not wanted, for sure. But when people talk about how when you grow up, he says, I didn't even know who I was, so I needed to go out there and find it. It's like, nobody knows who they are, to an extent. And people change. And you could become a person that you wanted to be, and then what? And once you're that person, you might want to do something else. And then you realize that you're somebody that you don't want to be, and then because you found that you wanted to be something else. So we're always who we are when we're there, and in that time. But who we want to be is always an ideal. And that's a good thing. Ideals are good, but they can also be very harmful. So it's not bad. It's not sour. It's fairly sweet. Odd fruit flavor combination, but crisp. Anyway, that's what I have to say about it. I think sometimes when people say, like, I'm just not happy where I'm at, there is a way of, we get into a rut. And the problem is the rut is all around us. So it's hard to get out of it. And it's also, sometimes the rut is what we see versus what's actually there, or what's available to us. Yeah. It's difficult. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well as always. I'm Sir Drinkslot, and I'm wishing you health, wealth, and love with enough time and gusto to enjoy it all down to the last drop. I give the cooler I give it 3 to 6. A little above mid-grade. Pretty standard. Fairly good. I definitely would drink it again. I wouldn't pass it up somewhere if it was offered. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to go get it. But it's good. It's nice. If I were doing kind of like a morning drink, I might pop that. That's pretty good. But, yep. That's it, guys. I'll catch you later. Have a good one.